Hey world, it's your boy, the Black World Traveler, back at you right now. And if it's your first time to the channel, if you like the content, you can subscribe, share, and like. Today, this is going to be a reaction video. It's a Nigerian young sister who basically was attending college here, and she learned about our history. And she said she was infuriated when she saw the history of how basically what the black people went through here through slavery. She's from West Africa, and Nigeria is a West African country, if you guys don't know. And the thing that shocks me and really kind of disturbs me a little bit is that through history, in West Africa, the slave trade was basically supposed to be them bringing us from Africa, from West Africa, right? Nigeria and Ghana were some of the main ports they said that they were taking us from, right? What shocks me is this. Now, this sister's she's Nigerian, she's from Africa, and she's saying how she was so upset about how the white people, I guess, treated us through slavery. But what disturbs me is this. If you're from Nigeria, which is one of the main ports where they were taking us out of and so-called capturing us, you mean to tell me 40 years that was going on in Africa and there's no history of it? No one knew about it? Because every African that I met, no matter if they're from East Africa, West Africa, South Africa, they didn't know about the slave trade until they moved to this country. So something was wrong with that. How were you from Africa, especially West Africa, and the way we would describe it, that West Africans was capturing us for the white men to put on the ships to bring over here. So you didn't know nothing about that? So if they're not teaching that in Africa, then somebody's not telling the truth. Now let's get back to the sister, what she was talking about. Take out the clip that she's talking about, how she's infuriated about how people were treated. Check this out.
Yo, somebody help me understand this. As a young Nigerian girl moving to America, history was always the one class that I hated with a passion. And that was because that was the first time I actually learned about the African American history. I learned about enslavement. So imagine me, a black girl, learning this information about potential people from my country that were put through this. And this was the first time that I'm hearing about this. Culture shock, one. But I was filled with so much rage. I was filled with so much rage. Like, I couldn't understand it. And these people, I still can't understand the white rage. Because how are y'all for 400 years and then some, to this day, quite honestly, let's be quite honest. To this day, y'all enslaved black folks. Y'all killed them. Y'all took them away from their family. At the end of the day, black folks came to y'all and said, all we want is peace. All they wanted was peace, and y'all was mad, and y'all couldn't even give them that just off jump. And y'all incited violence and killed them some more after they wanted peace. Imagine somebody killing your family members for 400 years over and over and over and over and over and over again. And at the end of the day, all you wanted was peace.
If you guys were the ones taking people and capturing them, why would you not tell your citizens? Why would you not tell your residents or the people born in the country? Why would you not expose that information to your people if y'all were really taking us like you said you were taking us? Something to think about. Now what's disturbing to me is that when people like me, are talking about, we're indigenous to the Americas, most black, not most, but some black Americans are saying, oh man, you just don't want to be African. No, that's not even the case. My thing is that if we were from Africa, why would this sister not know about it? If she's from West Africa, Nigeria was one of the main ports where they were taking us from, and there were ports in Nigeria where, and Ghana were the two places where most of us were so-called coming from. even when you do your DNA test. So yeah, you know, so the sister, you know, she's upset, and I see it. But that's how we always felt, because every time we hear anything about slavery, it was always black people. Every time, and then what trips me out is that black people always talk about how we were strong and we was kings and queens. But why was everybody enslaving us? If we were so strong, well, why were people so easy to be able to enslave us if we were so strong? Somebody's not telling the truth. You mean to tell me no black man, all these brothers that were so-called being enslaved wasn't fighting back? You mean Europeans were always outnumbered? You mean these Europeans were taking us in slavery and they were doing all these things to us and we weren't fighting back? Something is wrong with that, man. The story is not adding up, because there's no way that Africans from West Africa should not know anything about the slave trade. And then the conditions that they said they were in, especially with the men, with their wives being raped and all this stuff. You think men weren't fighting back? When they were saying the slave master was taking the wife and doing what he wanted to do with her, and you mean a black man couldn't do nothing about it? Come on, man, something don't sound right. I don't know no black man to this day is going to let some man hold his wife down and have sex with her and not want revenge. And all the things they talked about happened to us with the breeding camps and all these things. This stuff don't add up. Like, this don't even add up with the girl saying that she didn't know nothing about the slave trade, which no Africans that I know, I don't know that one African that ever knew about the slave trade in Africa until they came here. So we knew things about Africa, and we were here in America. Not all of us, but some of us would go and you know, find out things about Africa and find out all kind of things because they read books and everything. I mean, of course, the scholars, they see this video, they're going to be, oh, this dude he's talking about, you know, Umar Johnson is, you know, he's a scholar, he's a professor and this and that. And all these scholars that got these degrees in our history, they are only getting their history from books. And a lot of times when they travel closed-minded. A lot of times these people go overseas and travel. They don't live with the people. They don't get a chance to experience what it is to be with the people. Like, I lived in Australia. When I was learning the black history in Australia and the islands, I was talking to people from the islands. I lived with them. I lived in the houses with them. I lived in the community. I sat around them. There's Aborigines that look like me and you. There's Aborigines that look more like East Indians. And it was crazy about it. It was a brother just put a video out. He was put a video out saying that the Aborigine people were not the original inhabitants of Australia. And I'm like, well, where did he get that from? He said him and his team did some research and found out that the people that were original look like me and you. Yeah, those are the Torres Strait Islanders, which I met as well. I sat down with the Torres Strait Islanders and talked to them. What's crazy, what people don't know, a lot of Torres Strait Islanders had Jamaican ancestry. And I was blown away, and they explained to me how it happened. That the ships were coming through. There were ships coming through. And when the ships were coming from the Americas, going to Africa, they came through the Straits. Which we got the Caribbean in America, they got the Straits in Australasia and the Pacific. And what happened was that a lot of them saw land, they would jump the ships and swim to shore. And this is what the brothers told me that was from Torres Strait Islands. And they said they had to go up to the hills because the Aborigines, who looked like me and you on that island, were headhunters. Because they were cannibals. So when they brought Christianity to the island, they were able to come out of the mountains and then blend with the Aboriginals. But see, Aboriginals just don't look like East Indians. They look like me, they look like you. They're different complexions, they have different hair textures, different skin complexions, different body builds. There are a lot of different looks, just like when you deal with the Native Americans here. All Native Americans don't look like Asians, like with slanted eyes. All Asians don't have slanted eyes. Some Asians are dark, some Asians are light, some Asians are really, really dark, some have thick hair, some have straight hair. So what's crazy about it is that some people, that believe in Pan-Africanism and they believe in the Atlantic slave trade, they laugh at people like me saying I don't know what I'm talking about because, oh, we were African. We were African. Okay, that's cool. I didn't say we weren't African. But everybody that came in were not African. You got to realize black people from all over the world were traveling. When I was in Australia and I met all the black people from South Sea Island and Solomon Island and Fiji and all the other islands, some people were from Africa in some of those islands and some weren't. Everybody that arrived on those islands, they all lived together. They shared the land, but all of them didn't come from Africa. Some came from Asia. Like this one brother just put a video out. He was saying that, oh man, these black people in Australia, the Aborigines, aren't the original people. And he showed a picture of the Torres Strait Islands and stuff. These are original people. And I'm like, see, this is the reason why when you just read and you don't travel nowhere, you know what the fuck you talking about. I live in the community. And in the community, in the black community in Australia, the Torres Strait Islanders and the Aboriginals are both indigenous to Australia. And they still don't even have rights like they want. They still can't have say-so for their choices in their own communities. I just talked to my friend Simone. She's Aboriginal. I just talked to her on the phone 2 nights ago. She was depressed and down because she said, man, we had a chance to finally be able to have a say-so for it ourselves, to basically make decisions for ourselves. And she said there was a vote, and you know about how they do it in their country. You got to vote. She said it was a lot of white people, white Australians, that were supporting them to have their say-so. But when the votes came out, it was 60% were against it and 40% was with it. Well, you got to realize there's a lot of foreigners that migrated to Australia who basically they come there. They don't even associate with the Aboriginals. I've seen videos where Africans come there and say, oh, living black in Australia, how it is to live black in Australia. And I'm like putting comments like, what are you talking about? The Torres Strait Islanders and Aboriginal are the black people of Australia. How you talking about being black? You can say being African in Australia, but it's about what it is to be black in Australia. They're black people. If I didn't travel to these places and met the people, I met an Asian like the Filipinos. I met Filipinos, black Filipinos. I met black Indonesians. I met black people from South Sea Island, Papua New Guinea. These are places where people are Asian. They're not even African. Never been to Africa. Their roots came from Asia. They're indigenous to Asia. The Filipinos, Negritos, they're considered indigenous in Asia, in the Philippines. Same with the Papua New Guineas. Same with the South Sea Islands. Same with the Vanuatus. Same as the Andaman Islanders. Now there are some Bantus that migrated from Africa that's in India, and they have some civilizations where they're protected by the government in India, where the Indian government protects them, and because the people don't want to be westernized. They want to live the old way. They don't want to live in modern society. They still live in tribal gear. They don't wear clothes. They just wear like something to cover their private parts, and they hunt and do everything they do like they've been doing for thousands of years, and they don't want to be westernized. They don't want to be bothered. And that happens. So yeah, the sister who's from Nigeria that went to school here, it's amazing how she didn't know anything about our history of her people and the people in her region putting us on ships for 400 years, as they say. She didn't know nothing about it, but she's Nigerian. So something is wrong. Either someone's telling a lie, or they don't want the people there to know the truth. But somebody's not telling the truth. Somebody's definitely lying or keeping the truth from the people. Because if your people were the ones capturing us and putting us on these ships, and that's what we were told, shouldn't y'all know about that if y'all the ones doing it? But we're not indigenous, right? That's what they say. So if y'all like the video, please like, share, and comment. And I'm not here to argue with you or debate with you. It's just my opinion. It's your boy, the Black World Traveler. I am out.